What's going on, Card Family? Happy Sunday. How's everybody doing today? Hope you're enjoying your day. I've been on this kick lately and had this stuff in my mind. By the way, today we've got a Hall of Famer, the Iceman, George Gervin, showing off a little auto here today. Want to pick up a nice, cool card of his. I've been on this kick lately with, I don't know, just wanting to give information and share things that I've learned the past year and a half, couple years that I've been back in the hobby. And so today I want to talk about a few things that honestly, when I first got back into the hobby, were super confusing to me. And, you know, probably like a lot of guys, I collected in the 80s, a lot of guys my age. And we only had a few brands, you had Topps, Donruss, Fleer, Score came along, a couple other things, but for the most part, a rookie card was a rookie card. We did have a few extended sets or traded sets, but it was pretty cut and dry. And I got back into the hobby January of last year, and things had, morphed into something that I did not understand. So the first thing I want to talk about today, and one of the first things that confused me, was the whole idea of parallels, numbered cards, refractors, that sort of thing. So let me get a couple cards out. Now I know a lot of the regular Card Family guys that have been collecting for a while are going to see this and think, dude, we all know this, but I'm telling you, when I first started, I was clueless and lost and could not make my way through this, and it took a long time. So first I want to explain sort of numbered cards and parallels, and I'm going to use 16 Donruss Optic to do it because I've got a few different examples. So most sets nowadays, you'll have your base cards, and in this particular case, this is a base Dez Bryant. Sometimes it might be hard to figure out which one is the base. They may have different colors that are not base, and I'm going to show you a good way to do that too. So there's his base, and then you'll hear people say refractor and prism. So a lot of times a prism, refractor, or they'll call it a parallel, which could be a different color. A lot of times it's just going to be the same card, but it's got this hollow shine to it. And as you can see, this one is actually silver on the borders. So this is just a base refractor for the same card that I just showed you. Then they'll take the same card and they'll dive into numbering. So you'll have it at a 299. This one's out of 199, and it goes on and on and on and on. So I didn't understand that when I first started collecting. Number one, I couldn't figure out there was so many different sets, and then there was so many different variants. And generally, the general rule of thumb is the lower the number on the card, obviously the more rare it's going to be, probably the more expensive it's going to be. So move on to step two. All right, so step two, how do you know how much a card is worth? And that's a difficult question to answer. And the real answer is the card is worth what somebody's going to pay for it. And I'm going to, a lot of us in our Facebook group have been talking about younger collectors. And honestly, nice way to put this, some of them are being a little bit of a pain, not paying, pricing. How do we handle it? Well, we can educate. So, and that's nothing against the younger collectors at all. We want younger collectors. It's a long story. So let's take this card for example. And there's a lot going on with this card also. So this is a 2016 Plates and Patches Ezekiel Elliott on card auto, numbered to 25. So how do you know how much this card is worth? It's deeper deeper than what's on the surface. So let me get my computer over here. Okay, so I'm on eBay. I searched Ezekiel Elliott, plates and patches, auto. You can be as specific or as non-specific as you want. I honestly like to be a little more vague, and let everything pop up and scroll around. So you'll see right off, there's the one I have. It's out of 25. It's on card. It's the blue plates and patches. This particular one is graded an 8.5 Beckett, and they're selling it for $999. Okay. Look around a little more. Let's see. That one's not an auto. You see, there's a lot of different cards popping up. Okay, here's one for sale for $250 out of 50. So that one's numbered higher than the one I have, and they want $250 for it. So a lot of times what I see happening is people find that, and they look at this, and they say, oh, well, that's a $250 card. Well, if you're just getting into eBay and just learning things, here's something critical that you need to do when you're trying to figure out what cards go for. People can list a card for whatever they want. Look over here on the left and click sold items and let that pop up. And now we will see an entirely different world. So there's that one that was out of 50, the same card went for bid at $65. There's another one out of 50 that went for 97. So you're starting to see a little bit of a range. There's an out of 10, which is lower numbered than the one I showed. It went for 202. So now you definitely know that 999 is probably pretty unlikely. And for one to be sold for 250 is probably pretty unlikely too. So maybe this 25 would fall somewhere in the middle. But what I wanted to do here was eliminate the idea of, you can't just go and look at what a card is listed for and then say, oh, well, that's a $1,000 card. Look at the comps that have sold. And you can always look at different products, but you have to look at products that are comparable to the card that you're looking at. So that'll give you a better idea of what you might be able to get for something. But still, the key being, it's only worth what somebody's going to pay for it. So another really cool site when you're trying to figure out parallels and numbers and things like that is Cardboard Connection. I would definitely encourage you to add this website to your favorites. You can add Cardboard Connection. You can search any set. Most sets they'll have, and they'll give you a rundown on the product details. I always like to click the set checklist, and there's other sites that do this too, but I really like Cardboard Connection. And so this was the DES we were looking at, and it'll give you all of the parallels. So you see that first one that was silver, they're calling that a hollow, and then all your different parallels, then all your parallels for the rookie cards, for the base rookie cards, and then they'll give you an entire checklist. They'll break it down into signatures, rated rookie autos, thread, all the checklists they give, and for every checklist, they'll break it down for you. What are the parallels? And this is really how I learned to understand parallels, was by looking at checklists and, running through them. And that's, a lot of people make fun of me, but that's how I really got into rainbows, that and Antonio Collazo. So definitely add Cardboard Connection to your favorites. Couple other real quick things I want to talk about when you're looking at cards and thinking about which cards you want to buy. And again, I know my regular guys, we all already know this, is the difference between an on-card auto. So that card is autographed on the card. You see, autograph is guaranteed by Panini America. So if you've got a card, it's got an on-card auto, and you've got nowhere on that card does it say it's authenticated by the card company, you got to ask questions. It could have been a personalized auto, but you definitely need to ask questions as to the legitimacy of that auto, because anyone can take a card and so autograph it. But generally, your on-card autos that are authenticated by the card company on the card are going to be a little more desirable than a sticker auto. So this is a sticker auto here. And believe me, this is a nice card, and I wanted it really bad. But it is autographed on a sticker. So he probably had a sheet of stickers that he autographed, and they went on multiple different Panini products. So just understand that, Zeke autographed this card on this card himself. Dak, we hope, autographed the sticker, and they applied the sticker to the card. Meaning, like I say, this sticker could be applied to a high-end product like Spectra, or, your sister's ass. So keep that in mind when you're looking at autos. The last thing I want to talk about is material cards. A lot of people are into material cards. The difference between game used and player worn. We all have our different opinions on how we feel about it. Personally, I prefer game used. They seem to be more desirable and have more value. So this is a select Julio Jones, and if you look at the back of the card, the enclosed game-used material is guaranteed by Panini America. That means Julio Jones wore this material in an NFL game. Sometimes they'll give a specific game. Sometimes they'll say, it's not a specific game, but game-used means he wore it in a game. Versus player worn. And this is an awesome card. One of my favorite cards, 16 Select Sparks Ezekiel Elliott. You see this nice, pretty patch in here. However, the patch is, if you look for it, right here, player worn material guaranteed by Panini America. Player worn means he put it on. He could have put it on for 5 minutes. He could have wore it for all day while he babysit someone's kids or your kids. But it does not mean he wore it in a game. It could simply mean they handed him a jersey, he touched it, he put it on, he handed it back, and they took it and cut it up, and they call it player worn. So to me, I don't exactly know, it's a cool card. It's a badass card, but I don't exactly see the value or uniqueness of the material in the card. It could be almost any material they put on there. And there's also manufactured material that no one ever wore. There's a lot of different types, but personally, game worn is the way to go. But it's definitely a question you want to ask every single time when you're buying a card with a piece of material in it. You see that piece of material, you usually cannot tell from the front. I want to see the back of the card, because I want to see, is it game worn or player worn? It has an impact on the value. Same thing with an autograph. Let's take this on card. Anytime I buy a card on eBay, and if I see it is on card and the seller is only showing the front of that card, I send them a message and say, I want to see the back of the card, because I want to see the auto and I want to see that. The autograph is guaranteed. I don't want to buy an auto that a seller signed himself and then turned around and sold to me. I know this video is probably redundant for a lot of people, and I probably didn't do as well a job as explaining it as I wanted to. And a lot of it is probably just my personal preference and opinion, but I wanted to see if I could help out in some way. And really, the numbered stuff and parallels were hugely confusing to me when I first started. And I don't think I did a very good job of explaining it, but maybe it helps somebody. Appreciate y'all watching. Keep it real. I'm out.